It is a good morning to you from our Lagos studio. Many thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. It's time for News on the Hour. I'm David Alabi, and here are stories making the headlines. Now, the presidency has condemned some newspaper reports insinuating that President Muhammadu Buhari has declined assent to the Electoral Act Bill of 2018 because of his objections to the use of card readers in the 2019 elections. Malam Garba Shehu, the president's senior special assistant on media and publicity, in a statement in Abuja on Wednesday, described the allegations as wild and baseless. He said that the president did not raise any objections whatsoever to the use of card readers, contrary to the stories being maliciously peddled by sections of the media and on the internet. The statement read, "Our attention has been drawn to the incorrect and misleading reporting in several newspapers regarding the status of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill of 2018. The presidency would like to set out the true status of the bill. The Electoral Act Amendment Bill of 2018 was sent by the National Assembly to the presidency at the end of June 2018 for assent." Meanwhile, Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State has affirmed that it is true that President Muhammadu Buhari has health challenges and has also accused the cabal of running his government. Mr. Tambuwal also declared that he had been under tremendous pressure to join the 2019 presidential race. Addressing thousands of youth and students who stormed the governor's office in appreciation of his involving the youth in his administration, Governor Tambuwal said, and quote, "We supported Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 to become president unconditionally, and we admit that President Buhari has integrity, but that's not the only requirement for leadership. We are aware that the president is affected by serious challenges of health and is being held captive by a cabal that runs Nigeria for their personal interests." End of quote. We now move over to Ondo State, where the Independent Electoral Commission has fixed 1st of December this year for the local government election in the state. The chairman of the commission, Professor Yomi Dinake, made this known in Akure on Wednesday while addressing stakeholders' meeting. The professor said the proposed election was in line with the Section 30 of the Electoral Act of 2010 as amended and Schedule 4, Paragraph 1 of the Local Government System Establishment and Administration Law of Ondo State 2006. According to the guidelines released by the Commission, chairmanship aspirants are to pay a non-refundable nomination fee of 50,000 naira, while those seeking councillorship positions are to pay 20,000 naira. The Federal Executive Council meeting on Wednesday has reviewed upward the contracts for road projects in Enugu State. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, briefed State House correspondents at the end of the FEC meeting chaired by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He was with the Minister of Information, Lai Muhammad. According to him, the project, which was initially awarded at the cost of 10.3 billion naira in 2012, was to serve 6 different communities. He said that the project suffered failed implementation due to lack of funding. Given reasons for the increase, he said that there is also need to provide for erosion control. Meanwhile, the federal government has announced the reconstitution of the Board of Directors of Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading Company. This is confirmed in a statement issued by the Director of Information, Ministry of Finance, Hassan Dudu. The statement said the reconstituted NBET board, which has been ratified by the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, as chairman. The Director General of Bureau of Public Enterprises, Alex Oko, is the vice chairman of the board, while the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, will serve as non-executive director. Other non-executive directors in the NBET board include Director General of Debt Management Office, Patient Oniha, Director General of Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akabueze, and the Managing Director of Asset Management Company of Nigeria, Ahmed Kuru. The Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has presented a budget proposal of 155 billion naira for the 2019 fiscal year. Governor Nasir El-Rufai submitted the appropriation bill to members of State of House of Assembly on Wednesday in Kaduna, the state capital. The document tagged Budget of Continuity constitutes 62 billion naira recurrent and 93.5 billion naira capital spending. According to the governor, the appropriation bill is in the ratio of 40 to 60, representing recurrent and capital respectively, in line with his administration agenda of spreading more in serving the people than in running the government. He said the priority of the budget was to complete all 2018 projects and pay all contractors who have worked for the state government. Governor El-Rufai noted that the 2019 to 2021 multi-year budget was hinged on the 2016 zero-based budget principles, adding that it was tailored towards actualizing the state's development plan from 2016 to 2020. He informed the lawmakers that the state government has recorded a significant achievement in the construction, rehabilitation and maintenance of state roads, as well as making significant investments in health and education, infrastructure, equipment and staffing. In the budget estimate, the social sector takes 42.8%, with education allocated 27.15% and health 15.02%. Away from that development now, the Amnesty International has demanded the release of the Premium Times reporter Samuel Ogundikpe, who was arrested by the police on Tuesday. The International Human Rights Group made the call on Wednesday in a statement signed by its director, Osai Ojigo. According to Premium Times, Mr. Ogundikpe was arrested and detained by the police through the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, and has been held for about 48 hours without trial. The group described Mr. Ogundikpe's continued detention as unlawful and the report's reason for his arrest as extremely disturbing. It said, quote, "The Nigerian police must immediately and unconditionally release journalist Samuel Ogundikpe, who has been in unlawful police detention since Tuesday." Reports that police detained Mr. Samuel Ogundikpe with the intention of forcing him to reveal his sources are extremely disturbing and illustrate the level of harassment and intimidation that Nigerian journalists have to face. Nigeria's federal government has been tasked to use its Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, GEEP, to boost manufacturing of made-in-Nigeria goods. The scheme, which is expected to provide microcredit loans to about 2 million Nigerians, was recently launched in Lagos and is expected to curb rising poverty rates. About 30,000 Nigerian traders will be benefiting from each of the nation's 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital. Our correspondent, Amadu Nuyi, reports.
Data from the Brookings Institute, compilers of the World Poverty Clock, says Nigeria has officially overtaken India with a country of the highest number of people living in abject poverty. The figure saw those living in poverty rise to about 87 million persons between 2016 and 2018, with expected increase in the next 4 years. In a bid to stem these ugly developments, Nigeria's federal government launched the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, GEEP, aimed at making microcredit to the tune of a minimum of 10,000 naira only available to poor Nigerians engaged in trading. This has continued to receive rave reviews.
This is a very laudable effort. You know, we've seen people in Kebbi, in Adamawa, in Nasarawa, in Benue, where we've put them in groups, saving and borrowing among themselves, and where people have borrowed 2,000 naira and they've now turned their livelihoods all together. They are telling us stories about having businesses to send their schools, incomes to increase to send their kids to school, have 3 square meals, have more assets, increase their farm size. So for us, this is a very laudable effort.
The poor, when they are empowered through loan schemes such as 10,000, 30,000, as the case applied, they are capable of generating wealth that will push them out of poverty.
A statement from the Office of the Vice President says the scheme would target about 2 million petty traders before the end of the year, reaching about 30,000 traders in each of Nigeria's 36 states. The scheme has been launched in Lagos and moves to Kano and Abia states.
Somebody that cannot afford 3 square meals and you give him 5,000 naira, that is a whole lot.
Poor people don't need charity, they need support. Because the rich, they make their money not through any miracle, it's because they have the support of the state.
However, there are some who think the federal government needs to partner with non-governmental organizations and organized labor to ensure the scheme is a success.
Government needs to also make an obvious effort, conscious effort to work with organizations, that go and meet these people, that have already trust of these people, so that the right people that are supposed to actually benefit from this are benefiting.
They also want the government to use the scheme to boost local manufacturing and made in Nigeria goods.
Beyond the fact that you get more support or more loan after paying the other one, we should also ensure that the money given to them is used to reinflate the Nigerian economy, and we should make sure they trade in Nigerian goods, made in Nigerian goods.
The JIP scheme sees the federal government partner with the Bank of Industry through an initiative called Trader Money. Beneficiaries who are successful in paying the initial loan of 10,000 naira will be given access to a higher facility ranging from 15,000 naira to 50,000 naira. Amadine Uyi, Plus TV Africa.
The United States Embassy has suspended consular services and appointments in Abuja till further notice. It explained that appointments for visa and for American citizen services have also been put on hold temporarily. Consular operations in Lagos were, however, not affected, the mission said in a statement on its website on Tuesday. No reason was given for the decision. The message read, until further notice, all consular appointments at the U.S. Embassy in Abuja have temporarily ceased for both visa and for American citizen services. Consular functions in U.S. Consulate Lagos are not affected and will continue scheduled visa, and ACS applicants for Abuja will be contacted for rescheduling. We'll be back later with more news. Don't go anywhere. Many thanks for joining us, and if you are just joining, you're watching News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. It's time to bring you news across the continent. Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa has filed submissions in the land's highest court, opposing a court challenge to his victory by main opposition leader Nelson Chamisa, one of his lawyers said on Wednesday. The first election since Robert Mugabe was forced to resign after a coup in November had been expected to end Zimbabwe's pariah status and launch an economic recovery, but post-election unrest has brought back uncomfortable reminders of its violent past. Mr. Mnangagwa has urged Zimbabwe to unite behind him, but questions remain over the death of 6 people in an army crackdown on protest against the ruling party's victory. Mr. Chamisa has said the vote was rigged and has challenged the result by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, which gave President Mnangagwa 2.46 million votes against 2.15 million votes for the 40-year-old Movement for Democratic Change leader. To some sad development now, at least 24 children on their way to school and a health worker have drowned when their boat sank in the northern part of Sudan. More than 40 children were on the boat, whose engine failed in a strong current as it crossed a 2.5-kilometer flooded area near the river Nile. The children, who were between the ages of 7 and 16, began to panic, leaned to one side, and the boat overturned, the school's headmaster told the BBC. Only 2 bodies have been found. A court in Libya has sentenced 45 militiamen to death by firing squad over the killing of demonstrators in the capital, Tripoli, during the 2011 uprising against longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi, the Justice Ministry says. The statement released by the ministry on Wednesday did not give further details on the matter, but according to Justice Ministry official reached by Reuters, the death penalties were related to killings purportedly perpetrated by forces loyal to Gaddafi near the Abu Slim district of Tripoli shortly before he was driven from the capital and toppled. We'll be back shortly with news from the foreign scene. Stay tuned. And on the foreign scene, gunmen attacked an area around a training center for Afghanistan's intelligence service on Thursday in the capital, Kabul, an official at the center said. The official said he was taking shelter in a protected area of the compound and had no further details. A suicide bombing has taken the lives of 48 students and injured another 67 others at a private education center in Dashti el-Bachi, locality of Afghan's capital of Kabul on Wednesday, the Public Health Ministry said. Many of the injured remain in critical condition. Earlier reports said that 25 people were killed and 36 injured. Most of the victims were high school graduates who attended lessons in preparations for their university entrance exam. Among the victims were many female students. The United Nations mission in the country strongly condemned the attack, saying in a statement that there is no justification whatsoever for targeting civilians at any time under any circumstances. A Malaysian court has ruled that the evidence against two women accused of murdering half-brother of North Korea's leader is strong enough for the case to go to trial. Kim Jong-nam died at Kuala Lumpur airport last year after the toxic VX nerve agent was rubbed on his face. Siti Asia and Duan Thi Huang pleaded not guilty. They say they thought they were taking part in a TV prank show. They could face the death penalty if convicted of murder. Defense lawyers had earlier been confident that the case against their clients would be dropped, saying it was clear they had no motive to kill Mr. Kim. But a judge on Thursday ruled that the actions of the two women, which were captured on security camera footage, were enough to infer that they had intentions to kill him. We now move over to Italy, where the Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte has declared a state of emergency covering the region around Genoa after a bridge collapsed and killed at least 39 people and severed the port city's mainland corridor with southern France. Mr. Conte, speaking at a news conference in Genoa, said he made the declaration after a request from the regional authorities. He also took aim at operator Autostrade, a unit of Milan-listed Atlantia Group, which operated the bridge as part of a stretch of the A10 motorway it manages. Mr. Conte said the firm had been responsible for ensuring safety on the bridge, and the government would not await the outcome of a current criminal investigation into the disaster before taking action. The announcement comes as rescuers are continuing to search for survivors among huge chunks of debris after the bridge in Genoa collapsed on Monday. Prime Minister Conte said all infrastructure across the country needed to be double-checked. It's now time to talk business with Edith Young. Stay tuned.
This is Business News and I'm Edidiong Iwang. Well, the Debt Management Office has disclosed that the bond auction by the federal government, which it auctioned for August on Wednesday, was oversubscribed by 10.09 billion naira. According to a statement by the DMO, 90 billion naira worth of bonds were offered in 3 tenures of 5, 7 and 10 years. A total of 109 billion naira was allotted to competitive and non-competitive bidders. Allotments were made to successful bidders at the rate of 14.39% for 5 years, 14.60% for 7 years and 14.69% for 10 years. It's also expected that the proceeds be used as additional financing for the implementation of the 2018 Appropriation Act. While the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has stressed the need for firms that constitute hydrocarbon resources in the country, such as refineries, petrochemical industries and fertilizer firms, to list on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The Executive Secretary of the board, Simbi Wabote, noted that most of the companies listed under the oil and gas sector of the NSE are into marketing of petroleum products. He therefore saw that the upstream and midstream companies be listed on this exchange to enable citizens to participate in these firms' wealth creation. Well, on the activities of the Nigerian Stock Exchange from yesterday, our business correspondent Irene Ubani brings us up to date on all the trades and deals that took place.
For the third consecutive time in the week, the Nigerian stock market has recorded a 0.60% drop in its all-share index to close at 35,074.82. Total led the list of top gainers with a 5 naira rise from its previous close, while First Bank Nigeria Holding also had a 30 kobo rise from its previous close, which was a 3.14% increase. Nestle dropped by 60 naira, which was a 3.85% decline, while Berger dropped by 70 kobo, a 9.72% decline. Transactions in UBA topped the chart of highest trades with a volume of 28.2 million shares valued at 255.03 million naira. Market capitalization was 12.8 trillion naira and total deals was 4,044. Aaron Ubani reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Well, that's it on business news, but still to come is our roundup on entertainment and sports. We'll be back in a moment.
And in entertainment, friends, musicians, fans, and the public will attend the memorial for the award-winning hip-hop artist Linda Mkizie, better known as Pro Kid, today. The popular 37-year-old music man died due to a rare cause of bleeding in the gastrointestinal tract last week. He was in Johannesburg when the tragedy occurred. The Soweto-born artist has been celebrated by both industry peers and the public at large for his contribution to the music business, for uplifting South African hip-hop genre and promoting African languages in his music when it was not fashionable to do so. The Gauteng government has offered to assist Pro Kid's family to give the much-loved artist a fitting send-off. Art and Culture MEC Faith Masibuko said on Monday that her department is speaking to the family regarding funeral preparations. The memorial will be held this afternoon at the Newtown Music Factory in downtown Johannesburg. Pop boy band group Backstreet Boys will warm up guests as they arrive at Radio City Music Hall in New York City on the 20th of August for the MTV Video Music Awards. It has not been announced which song the boy band will perform yet. Pop stars Ariana Grande and Shawn Mendes and rappers Post Malone and Travis Scott are among performers at the main ceremony. Jennifer Lopez is this year's recipient of the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award, following in the footsteps of past honorees including Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, Madonna, Janet Jackson, Pink, and Bodak Yellow Cardi B will be leading the way with the most nominations, having stacked up a whopping 10 nods in total. Although it is unknown whether or not she'll be able to attend the ceremony after giving birth to her daughter Culture Kiari, whom she had with rapper Offset just over a month ago. Pop superstar Britney Spears has been ordered by a judge to pay her ex-husband Kevin Federline $100,000 to cover his legal costs as their battle on child support continues. The pair have been at war for months following Federline's demand to triple the $20,000 US child support that he's currently receiving for their sons, Jaden and Sean. Both parties have been instructed to also pay $10,000 to officials at a dispute resolution company in an attempt to settle the case out of court. The next hearing is in October. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I'm Maureen Folukofeji. Nigeria's acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has met with Sports Minister Solomon Dalung and the NFF President Amaju Pinnick in Abuja on Wednesday in an attempt to put an end to the current crisis obsessing the country's football federation. Earlier this week, FIFA handed Nigeria a one-week ultimatum until August 20th to restore its football federation in order to avoid facing a ban. Sources say Osinbajo met with Dalung and Pinnick behind closed doors at the presidential villa in Abuja immediately after the Federal Executive Council meeting to discuss the ongoing NFF crisis and the FIFA sanction. Details of the meeting were, however, not revealed afterwards. And Real Madrid have lost the UEFA Super Cup to city rivals Atletico Madrid in a match that ended 4-2 after extra time on Wednesday in Tallinn, Estonia. It was Real's first match since Ronaldo signed for Juventus for £99 million in the summer, and Zidane was replaced by former Spain coach Julian Lopetegui. The Champions League winners were looking to become the first side to win 3 Super Cups in consecutive seasons. 2 excellent late goals from Koke and Saul sealed the victory for Atletico after the game ended 2-2 in normal time. The Europa League holders have now won their 3rd Super Cup in 3 appearances. It was the first time in the past 5 years that the Super Cup was contested by 2 Spanish sides, but the first with both teams from the same city. And that's it from the Sports Update. I'm Maroon Folu-Kufeji.
Many thanks, Maroon Folu. And sports wraps or news roundup of events at this hour. For more news, updates and broadcasts, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And do remember to subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines across Africa and the rest of the world. Do join us again. I'm David Alabi. Good morning.